Hi, welcome. It's time for another town hall with me, a presidential candidate, Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki. And I am here at the town hall with an open mic, waiting to take questions from you, the people. So please join me and let me know what you think and what you want to do. I guess I'm hearing a little bit from you. For some reason, Tennessee just had a primary, even though two of our big parties have already completed their conventions. So I don't know how that can be that Tennessee is having a primary after the Republican and the Libertarian convention, but they are, or I think it's over now, but it just happened. So apparently they didn't have good turnout, and I think some people are starting to hear me. They're starting to see what I'm saying about the fact that there's so much fraud in the system, and this act of registering to vote is unconstitutional. So more and more the primaries are getting less and less, the amount of people showing up. So that's a good sign. People are protesting. They don't like our current options and our government. They know they're not being heard, so they don't even bother because they know it's just corrupt. And between the registering to vote and the fake names, then we have the computers that are manipulating our votes once they put the paper in. There's software in there to change things or cancel things or whatever. So we're not really voting. We don't get to decide. And although we are a republic, this is a little bit too republic. It's a little bit too, a few are deciding the state and the direction of our country, and this is not acceptable. Our country is run by the people. We are a democratic republic, or republic democracy, whatever you want to call it. We are not a pure republic, and we should not be a pure republic. And that would be a dictatorship, and we don't want that. So anyway, I guess the two big parties, so the Democrats and Republicans, who have been controlling our country for over 100 years, they need to listen up. The people are speaking. They're not showing up. So your little fraud scheme isn't going to work anymore if you don't have bodies coming in to vote. So, yeah, good luck to you. Anyway, let me start by saying, let's stop all the wars. I call for a ceasefire, and we've got to imagine peace. What does peace look like to you? If we can imagine living in a world filled with war and hate, we can imagine a world filled with peace and love. So let's start focusing on peace and love. I want everybody today to spend 5 minutes thinking about what peace would look like, and what, if you truly loved your neighbor, what would that look like? So think about it. It's important, because we get every day told what war and hate looks like, but we don't every day get told what peace and love look like. So it is time to get that, to start imagining it, because it's going to come true. So stop all wars. All wars end up anyways with being in a negotiation anyways. So let's just start negotiating now. Put down your weapons. Put down all these things. It's not necessary. So I have some people watching. Mark Mueller, hello. Kayan Samala Kobenzada, thank you. And And then Arthur Lochocki is watching. I don't know. We'll leave that as is, or I should say Arthur Woodski is looking. So welcome, everybody. Yeah, so let's start imagining what peace would look like. How could we imagine living peaceful, loving your neighbors, taking care of communities and townships? Peace is life. Yes, Mark, absolutely. So, as you know, my Supreme Court lawsuit is still with the Supreme Court, so that's good news. I keep checking everywhere, and I don't have it back. So as of currently, right now, I don't have it. So that means the Supreme Court has it. So that is excellent news. So they are thinking about it, working on it, deciding what to do. And the other part of that is I am, however, still going forward with my current concept of being a write-in candidate, and I need electors. I desperately need electors in all the states, in fact. So even the ones that you cannot currently vote for me, or you won't be able to vote for me in our current process of election. If everything changes, if my lawsuit goes through, then we'll have a state of emergency, and then everything will change, and then we will have to vote in a new way and urgently vote. So if my lawsuit comes through, the first thing we have to do is set up a hotline at the Social Security Department. And we'll probably put the National Guard on the phone. And then you'll call up and you'll update your Social Security address to make sure you have it accurately with the address, your one main address that you have. Then after that, ID cards will be printed from the Social Security Department. We'll need you to come in and at your local Social Security office in your town, wherever it is, and give a photo of yourself so we can put it with your Social Security number, and then new cards will be issued. It's also a good way to double check that all the numbers are accurate with the right person and everything. And so then the cards will be issued. It's probably going to take about 2 months to get everybody up to date and the card on out to you all. And then after that, then we can also be working actually at the same time to put the ballots together and get all the information about who's doing what and who you get to vote for, what you get to vote on. We're also confronted with the people who we have to vote on. We sometimes get surprised when we get into the voting booth, and then suddenly we have to vote on, do we want to give money for a bridge or a new school, or do we want to tax ourselves more, or do we want to change this code or something in our constitution of the state? So, they don't inform us, and at the last minute, you have to make a decision, and that's not acceptable. So the states during this emergency time should be putting together a packet that will be mailed off to you, the people, or not mailed, it will be hand-delivered by the National Guard, actually, and then you will get to have like a month to look it over and make your decisions and fill out your paperwork at home, not at the voting booth. And you'll go in and you'll show your new ID and you'll show that you are a citizen, and you'll sign their little book saying I voted, and then you pop your handwritten ballots into the ballot box, and then on the last day of the election is when the ballot boxes get open and the things are counted, the votes are counted in each and every county all over the United States. And then and then we have a result, and you have a result too in your local town or your local state. You'll have results on your things too. Again, we'll have the National Guard doing the counting to make sure it's accurate, and then we'll have a hopefully mostly corruption-free election. So that's the general idea. But it's not going to come about until the Supreme Court says something. They need to make their ruling on my lawsuit, and then we can move forward as a country. I'm personally, getting tired of talking about this and nothing getting done. It's a waste of your time, the people, and my time, the people, and even all the people I've had to involve. So it's time to just make a ruling and let's move forward as a country. This is crazy. So currently, I am a write-in candidate in these states. So in these states, you can vote for me, but I do need electors, and I need electors as soon as possible. So actually, before we go any further, let me give you my email, because I need you to email me, and it's Susan for electors. how do I spell that? Oh, and of course my pen's not working. I'm a visual person, so I don't always remember everything when I'm thinking, and spelling, because I have dyslexia, is like a nightmare for me. So, but I'll do my best. You know what? I'm going to put it in, actually, I'm going to put it in the comments so that you'll have it right there. That's best. And because if I misspell it while speaking, then you're going to misspell it, and then I'm not going to get your email. So I will include in the comments and in various places on this video once I release it. Because, yeah, I want to be accurate, and I want to get your email. And if you send me an email and I don't respond within like a week, please come back and leave a comment here on my 9:30 on Wednesday's town hall, or on my Sunday at 3:30 town hall. Leave a message saying, hey, I sent you a email and you didn't respond. So then I'll look for it, and if I don't find it, I'll send you a comment, and then we'll find each other, okay? Because I need electors. Now, of course, all the states, not only do the states who have rejected me because I'm not making lists of registered voters, because registering to vote is unconstitutional, and I can't ask you to stay registered, and I can't ask you to sign documents for me. But, of course, the electors, the states do want registered voters, but because I'm protesting the registered voter concept, I just need people who say that they will be a elector for me. You don't have to be registered. And when you go, so in some states you actually have to sign the document and get it notarized, but usually they have free notaries right there at the office. So you don't have to pay for a notary or anything. They'll do it for free, but you have to go into your local town hall and get the paper and fill it out, or you can print it out online, and then you can fill it out and then bring it into your town hall, to the election division. You have them notarize it and you hand it in, and everything's done. But the part, if you're going to sign it, because I don't want you to plagiarize yourself or anything, the part where they say you have to be registered, go ahead and cross that off. Anything on that form that you don't want to give them, cross it off and sign the form. If you sign it without crossing it off, then you could be liable. So on all these business forms, government forms, whatever, you can still sign them, and you can sign it your way. So you cross off the parts that you don't like, and you can look up some of mine. They've posted some pictures of some, or maybe I'll post one online where I crossed off a whole bunch of stuff, and then I signed it, and it got accepted. So it was this Chevron lawsuit that was removed by the Supreme Court recently. That also opened up the door that the election division can't do all this frivolous stuff that they're doing. They cannot ask us to do all these frivolous rules, you and me. So it's already, the ball is already rolling. So again, like I said, feel free to cross out on your forms once you do them. If you don't know which form it is, contact me. I will send you the proper form that's needed. for electors in your state. So so please definitely do that. And then I can also go over what you can cross off and what you can't, and then you have to sign, you know, whether you yeah, that this is you and everything. So eventually a signature is needed. Don't sign it until you're in front of that notary if it's one that needs to be notarized. But if you send me an email and tell me what state you're in and what county, then I can take care of you. I can help you out through the process. The other thing is some states do it by counties, that you have to have a certain amount of counties electors, and then other ones do it that you just have to have the congressional amount. So whether there's 4 congressional seats or 20. So yeah. So anyways, let me go over the states that are currently recognize me as a write-in candidate and will be recognizing me as a write-in candidate in November. And that is Alabama, Delaware, Washington, D.C., Iowa, Maryland, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington State, Wyoming, and Wisconsin. But even with them, I do still need electors, and a few I need them a little bit earlier than the end of the election. So please, if you live in any of those states, please write me and say I'm going to be your elector, and then we'll take it from there. Then places that are pending because they need electors earlier are places like Florida, Texas, Maine, Michigan, Ohio, and Louisiana. And in some of these states that are pending, they actually don't want a document from me whatsoever. They only want electors. They want people in the state to come together and say, hey, I'm going to be for you, and me and my friends are going to do it too. So it's not even that I can even do anything except make this video and say, hey, please, I would like to be in these states and have it possible that people can write my name in, but I can't do it without you, the public. So if you live in any of those states, that's Florida, Texas, Maine, Michigan, Ohio, and Louisiana, I need electors before. Texas and Florida are this month. I don't know. I'm not sure about the other ones. I think they're next month. So, but please, Louisiana. I would really like to be in Louisiana. I found it such a really pleasant state. All the states are great. I've been visiting you this year, and I've been visiting the states, whatever. I've been living in many states and all over our country. But Louisiana was such a pleasant surprise. Baton Rouge, I had a great time there. And I happened upon a parade in February, I think it was. No, maybe March. Beginning of March or something. Anyway, it was wonderful. So I would really love to be able to say Louisiana people can write me in. That would be wonderful. Then the places where I cannot and am not official whatsoever, you cannot write me in because the state they wanted a list of registered voters before I even, whatever. And then eventually they want also electors of registered voters. So I could not go around and ask 3,000 people who are registered to vote to sign a document and give personal information and then hand it over to the state. I just wasn't going to do that. So the states that are asking for that are Alaska. They wanted 3,000 names. Arkansas, they wanted 5,000 names. Colorado, they were a write-in candidate state, but I didn't have a vice president, And I didn't have any electors when I filled out my paperwork. So they rejected me, and their closing date is already gone. So Colorado, I'm sorry. You know, I'd whatever. Your state is very early too, but the fact that they are making this demand where other states are not. I'm sorry. They did not. They're not very open to changes, so it might be a state I have to sue anyways, because our Constitution doesn't say that a presidential candidate has to have a vice presidential candidate. So it says that actually it's two separate elections. So that part of the form that they sent me is incorrect. And then it does state that the states can make the rule about how to run the elections, and so that falls into the electors they can say. But, I think I asked for electors during the time where it was possible to still hand it in, and none of you signed up. So, I can't do anything about that. So anyway, so Colorado, I care about you deeply. You're a very concerning state for me, but, you cannot write me in, and I'm not an independent. I'm nothing in your state. So don't even consider me in Colorado. Sorry about that. Then Hawaii, which is currently I've got today to dispute it. They only have independents and candidates. They do not do write-ins, and they wanted 5,000 registered voter names, and then they also wanted I think also a vice president candidate, and I don't have one. I mean, I have some people I've talked to, and I have something in the works, but I don't know if it's going to happen. So anyway, then and also with these list of like 5,000 names and stuff, they also want people who are not putting their names down for other people. So like if they're on a list of somebody else, they can't be on my list. And so you got to read the fine print too. So just to let you know, I am just this whole, it's just busy work. It's busy work, and they're checking, and they're using these lists, and they're going to sell them, and it's not appropriate what they're doing, not at all. So I have T.C. Haskell is watching, and he wrote, whoops, what did I do? Thank you, TC. Yes, I'm not in it to. We're all people, and we all are good and bad and do many things, right? And so the people who were in charge, they were partially in the past. They had control over things, but they also didn't have full control. They had parties to think about, and they had corporations who were backing them to think about. And so, the choices that they made in their presidencies, we'll say, were not always theirs. And, especially during this time campaigning, I think, we're all just people. And there are bad people, and sometimes I do have to say things, but in general, I don't. I just feel that we're wasting a lot of time on these campaigns when we don't have to. We should. There's got to be a better, more streamlined way. It's kind of wasting our time and the people's time, and we could be actually doing great things for our country rather than spewing hate or whatever the case may be. So thank you, TC, for noticing. Yes, I try to inform. I try to use this as a platform to inform, because a lot of people don't know a lot of this stuff. And the more people I can make aware and inform, the better. More educated public we have, and the better choices you can make too. So that's what my campaign, I'm a mom. What can I say? I'm a mom ultimately. And I care about you, I care about our country, and I care about me too, and I care about my family and your children, and I just want the best for all of us. So, I know a lot of people don't have that in their heart, but I do. And I'm doing my best to inform you so that you can make an educated decision. And it sounds like you are, because I think not so many people are turning out for these elections right now, the primaries. And even a lot of people have gone from being either a Democrat and Republican to an independent, or they've taken their name off their registration rolls completely. So everything's moving in my direction, actually. And so people have been listening, and I thank you for that. We got to do it together. So, like I said, if you're registered or not, that doesn't matter to me. I do need electors. I need to know you're out there. So please send me an email. I'm going to put the email address into the video here later in the comment section. So the address is, I'll say it, and then those that are not dyslexic can figure it out. So it's Susan 4, that's the number 4, electors, with an S, so plural, at gmail.com. So please send me an email telling me what state you're in, what county you're in, and your name, and then we'll take it from there. And then I'll find out what information you need to do to become an elector for me. So, and like I said, whatever they've got on that form, you can just cross off some of it. Some of it is really not necessary, like registering to vote. You can just cross that right off, and you can still sign it and feel good about it, and then become an elector for me. So absolutely. So now Hawaii's deadline is today, and they want more than 5,000 names of registered voters to be an independent. They don't offer writing status. So I'm probably not going to get that, which I am so sorry, because it's a great state. And, it's part of my childhood too, because, my dad was in the Air Force and we went off to Guam, and going to Guam, you have to stop in Hawaii and refuel, and then you fly the rest of the way to Guam. And then returning too, you have to stop in Hawaii, and then you went to California. So, I just have so many fond memories of Hawaii, and I'm so sorry that you're not going to be able to write my name in, because they don't offer that, but I'm not even going to be able to have you vote for me there. So I'm just so sorry. So the best thing I can do is don't vote, take your name off the registering to vote list, and let's get it down to like one person who's registered to vote in every state. And that's only the only ones who'll be registered are the other candidates. So they're the only ones who can then officially vote, right? It'll be funny. There'll be like 12 votes. All right. So another one, New Mexico. That was early on. They wanted 3,000 names of registered voters, which I did not give them. Or I think they also had like a money possibility. But anyway, it was very early, and they don't offer write-in status anyways. They want you to be an independent in that state, and I don't really want to be an independent. I want to be a write-in. So the whole thing just didn't work out. So New Mexico, you cannot vote for me. I'm sorry about that too. So my recommendation is just get off the registering to vote list and don't show up. And then again, then only the people who are running for office will be registered. And so it'll be extremely low turnout. But, and you need to know that to unregister, it's very complicated. And if you don't send it to the right place, they're just not going to do it. And sometimes they have your name spelled wrong, or your address wrong, or whatever, or you might be in the system a couple of times, And then what's going to happen is they're not going to find you and they're going to leave you on there. So you got to, even if you send in those postcards, I mean, it took me 3 postcards and then I had to finally walk in the door when I was trying to change my party affiliation and my address in New York State back in 2019. I mean, I started in 2019 to try to change it, and then it took me until halfway through 2020, and then they finally changed it. But that was, I had to walk physically in the door and say, do this. Then they found me and I was under a misspelling. So, you know, we got huge problems. So it might take some time. So get started now if you want to take your name off that registering to vote list too. Then, who do I have here? Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Michael Bruce. Then North Carolina. Okay, yeah, I could have been a write-in there, but they again wanted 500 names of registered voters. And, you know, I cannot walk around fighting registering to vote and then go out to you, the public, and say, hey, you're registered. Can you sign this document for me? So that just doesn't work. So, there was no way of becoming a write-in candidate in North Carolina because they wanted that 500 name list. I don't know what they do. I guess they sell these lists. That's what it is. You know, I recently got a piece of mail that says, the Republicans must have sold my list or sold their list because they're sending me stuff to Susan B. Lochocki. So then I become, Susan Lochocki again. And then, so I just got some mail for Susan Lochocki, even though I'm Susan Buchser-Lochocki. And officially I'm Susan Maud Buchser. So it's interesting, who's selling what lists. I guess the Republicans need money. Then, so sorry, North Carolina, you cannot vote for me either. I'm sorry about that. South Carolina, they didn't allow write-ins. They only wanted independents. And then they also wanted a list of 10,000 names of registered voters. So, again, this is just busy work too. I mean, it's just crazy. What does that have to do with anything? And they're just selling these lists, or they're using these as like fake lists, or they're going to put that into their computer and say, when this person votes, you have to change it to a Republican or Democrat or whoever they want to win. And, the two big parties are working together. It is a duopoly. So we've got a monopoly of a duopoly. Just to let you know. Oh, man. The corruption. It's just insane. Really, it's so disappointing. This is not what our forefathers fought for. This is not what our ancestors fought for. This is not what, we went to wars for the last century to fight for freedom and justice and, so that we could have our political leaders doing corruption. Not acceptable. So that's South Carolina. Then Oklahoma, they also didn't offer write-in status. And, I even lived there and worked there for a summer. My sister lived there and was a dancer at a Ballet, Oklahoma. And my brother-in-law, he worked in a restaurant there. So did I, Cactus. But anyway, they wanted either something like 35,000 registered voter names, or they wanted $35,000. And that was to be an independent because they don't do write-ins. So I was like, what? So that was also you either have to be rich or famous, and I'm neither of those, and you have to be registered to vote, and I'm not that either. So anyway, so they rejected me. So definitely sorry, Oklahoma. I had a great time, and you've got, that great song, right? And it's a shame. It's a shame you don't have freedom. People who are living in Oklahoma don't have freedom. You don't have rights. Your rights are being restricted, and I'm sorry for you. I'm going to do something about it. I've got this lawsuit pending, which would free you and all these other states. But for right now, your hands are tied. Your state doesn't want you to have choice. Sorry about that. You can also sue them. You can say, hey, I want to vote for this candidate. She's official. She's on the FEC website. And she's in other states, so why can't she be a candidate here? And you can try to sue, your states yourself. That would be helpful. But if you don't, I will, or maybe my lawsuit will go through, and then we can all breathe easier and have some freedom for once. Anyway, so another state where you cannot vote for me currently is South Dakota. South Dakota, they wanted 3,000 registered voters, and again, they don't offer write-in status, which is really what I wanted. So to be an independent, I had to provide 3,000 registered voters, and I did not. So, and their filing time is now done. So it's official. South Dakota is also on my list of places where you cannot vote for me. Ultimately, it could get as high as 12. It might even go higher, but for right now, it's 12. And so the maybes are Florida, Texas, Maine, Michigan, Ohio, and Louisiana. So in those states, I definitely need your help. So I need electors, and I need them quickly, especially Florida. Well, yeah, Florida and Texas. Well, Texas, I need 40. So I need 40 people in Texas from the different congressional districts and counties. You have to be from different places. I need you to send me an email, and we need to get on this very quickly. And Florida too. I think in Florida I need 8. I don't know. But anyway, each state is different, as I said. And even if the document says you have to be registered, just cross that off. Sign it in front of a notary if it needs to be notarized, and get it in. Sometimes it's not even me that does it. It's you, the public, have to decide, hey, I want you to be able to be a write-in in my state, so I'm going to fill out the paperwork for you. And that's how it works. So if you can help me, that would be great. I'm going to put that email into the comments here so that you have it. And then also in various places so that you have it. I just need your name, your state, and your county to get started, and then we can figure out the rest after that. So please contact me. I also need electors in all the ones that I'm approved in, because eventually those states want it too. So if I don't get electors, then eventually no state will be able to vote for me. But the current ones where I am accepted as a write-in candidate are Alabama, Delaware, D.C., Iowa, Maryland, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington State, Wyoming, and Wisconsin. All right, so that's my news for right now. Supreme Court, please make your ruling. Come on, let's do it. And then electors, you, the public, I need you, whether you're registered or not. I don't care. I think you should all deregister as a voter because it's unconstitutional. That's what I really think you should do. I think you should send me an email to be an elector for me in your state, represent your state for me. And then, as you know, my promise is if I do get to be president, that you then can come and spend a day at the White House with your family or friends. You get to bring 5 people and spend the day, and we'll have dinner, all of us together, and enjoy. You can see what your president does for you. So it's a nice little extra if you're an elector for me. What else can I say? I guess that's about it at the moment. Yeah. So, all right, I'll keep working for you and see if we can bring our country to a better place. That's all my news. So thank you for stopping by. I am Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, and I am running for president of the United States as a unregistered, unaffiliated presidential candidate. The FEC website does say that I'm a Republican. I don't know why. I need to contact them about that, because I filled in a paper and I changed it, but I think there's like a rule with one of the states where you have to have been the same party affiliation or whatever for a whole year. So it could be that they canceled my newer form for this older form. I don't know. I have to find out what's going on there. You know, I do have people messing with me, or it could be, you know, somebody who wants to disqualify me. I don't know. There's all sorts of fraud, as you know. But I am there, and, you know, whatever my party affiliation, I am unregistered and unaffiliated at the moment. I am, I've been called a Christmas Republican, so green and red, just to give you an idea. And then I've been also called a fusion green. So these terms are whatever you want to make of them. But anyway, so that's my story. Thanks for stopping by. If you want to look up more about the lawsuit that I've got pending, my website is susan4usa.com. That's Susan the number 4 USA.com. And that's the end of the town hall for today. Thank you all for stopping by. And yeah, thanks. Assyria Calvin says that that they like that I can speak the truth without fearing. And yes, I mean, we have to be able to speak, you know. Yeah. I'm sorry if you come from a country where they forbid you from your right of freedom of speech. But yes, the U.S. does allow freedom of speech, and it's a good thing. That's true. Thank you for pointing that out. So, all right. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day. Bye for now.